Hey, it's Dazza here, aka Ironheim. Welcome to the channel. Before we get this video started today, just give us a quick like on the old Twitch please and YouTube, and give us a thumbs up, and leave any comments in there that you want me to cover maybe next time in the next video. And let's get this video started. If you're new to an mmorpg or haven't actually tried deciding what you want to do, there are 4 pillars in Monsters and Memories. There is tanks, DPS, healers, and support, and I'm here to help you decide on what will suit you best. Let's begin with the big boys, the tanks. What does a tank exactly do? As a tank, you're responsible for aggro control. What this means is that you're going to have to make sure that the enemies are focusing on you and not your party members. Through the control of shouts, roars, anything that gets the attention of the enemies to focus on you instead of your party. Positioning is the next most important thing. You've got to make sure that the enemies are facing you and they have their backs turned to the party. That way, the party can DPS, heal, etc. while they're all facing you. You don't want the enemies spread out, otherwise it's going to be too hard to keep them bunched together, and that's when things can go south very fast. Mitigation is probably the last point I could do here. Mitigation is to make sure that the damage doesn't overcome and take your health down too fast. By using things as shields, blocks, parries, anything that stops the damage taking you down too fast. Wearing heavy armor, a big shield can help, but also knowing when to use your abilities can be a lifesaver. If you're seeing your health running down, you could use an ability to stop that and give your healer a chance to top you up. So mitigation is about making sure damage doesn't take you down too fast and gives your healers a rest break. Currently in Monsters and Memories, there are 4 types of tanks. There's the Fighter, the Inquisitor, the Paladin, and the Shadow Knight. Each of these tanks brings something different to the table, and I'm sure I'll do an in-depth review at some point, so keep tuned for that. So on to the next one, let's talk about the healers. Healers are the life force of the party. At its base, playing a healer is a high stakes game of resource management and rapid decision making, which is triage. You aren't just watching health bars fill up, you are constantly calculating the economy of the fight. So you're choosing between fast, expensive single target heals versus slow, efficient group heals. So healers have to decide kind of who lives, who dies when things go wrong. If the tank and a DPS are both low, the tank gets the heal, because if the tank dies, the whole party wipes. Also, you have to be very mindful of your mana, as if it's running low and you've been over healing, which is too much healing, you might run out of mana when you most need it. So you've got to be managing your resource while actively keeping the right people alive and the right situation of using the right spells. Next is reactive versus proactive healers. So not all healers function the same way, and let's break down the different styles, as it's going to give you a better, broader idea. So you have like the direct reactive healers. They're the classic priest or something like that. They see damage happen and they immediately fill the health bar back up. Then you've got other healers that might provide providing shields and things, so they're more proactive. So it's like you're mitigating with a shield on the tank or a party member. So the shields are going to predict the incoming damage, or they can be used when they are getting damaged. And then the next type of healing is like heal over time. So like maybe a druid or something. So a heal over time, a hot, is a heal that gradually gives health over time. So it's good for like sustaining the party when there's constant damage to all party members, so it's to really smooth things out, and then you save your big heals for the big damages. And finally, healers are more than just a heal bot. Most games these days have healers that can do DPS as well, or they might provide buffs, debuffs, and they're constantly helping. So if you've got a good downtime, you've got a good team, your tank's doing well, jump in, do some damage, or maybe put a few debuffs to stop that mob hitting so hard. Like, have some fun with it. You don't have to sit there and just heal only. So that's a good thing with healers. You can do a few things as well as like your main role of healing. So enjoy it. Currently in Monsters and Memories, there are 3 different types of healers. There is the heavy armor wielding cleric, the druid, and the chainmail wearing shaman. The next pillar is most people's favourite, which is the damage per second, or DPS. So it's important that you can maximise your damage per second. So while the tanks are protecting the group, the healers are keeping everyone alive, the DPS classes are the specialised engine that actually wins the fight by depleting the enemy's health pool as efficiently as possible. If a fight drags on too long, the healer's mana will be exhausted, the tank's defensive abilities might be on cooldown, and the DPS probably isn't pulling enough DPS to kill the actual monster, so the group resources are probably going to run out. In order to make a good, efficient job of being a DPS, you should probably think about threat management and where you're going to be positioned. Positioning helps, especially when you've got to know where to stand. Maybe if you're ranged, you want to be just far enough out of the way that if the tank loses aggro, it's got to go through a fair bit of distance to get to you. Maybe you're a rogue. Setting up behind the monster will always be good because that's where you get your maximum damage. But if you draw too much aggro and the threat gets on you, you're going to pull it off the tank, and that spells disaster as you're more than likely going to get one hit. Utility and crowd control is more than just damage. A great DPS player isn't just a glass cannon, they are a team player. They often possess crucial utility tools like crowd control, rooting, stunning, sleeping, mesmerizing, etc. Also, using interrupts on enemy spellcasting or pulling monsters safely to the group. As a new player, masterly executing crowd control spells can save teammates from a bad pull. It's just as valuable, if not more so than topping the damage charts. Currently in Monsters and Memories, there are 9 DPS classes. There is the Elementalist, the Necromancer, the Wizard, the Archer, the Ranger, the Beastmaster, the Monk, the Rogue, and finally the Spellblade. Each offer their own unique gameplay, so have a read up and see what's good for you, but I'll be covering these classes soon. And finally, the unsung hero, the supports. This is the 4th pillar that most MMOs tend to forget. Let's talk about the first point, which is crowd control is king, and it also saves lives. Crowd control can come in many forms, but in Monsters and Memories, it's the ticket to making sure you don't get a total party wipe, and crowd control in mobs enables the party to pull one monster at a time rather than a whole group. Their ability to mesmerize, use charms, etc. makes the fighting so much easier. Support players who rarely find themselves looking for a group for long, but they aren't completely helpless on their own. They're highly wanted in groups. Bards and enchanters for their mana, regeneration buffs, speed boosts, stat increases to minimize downtimes. Also, if you're playing solo, the Bard is incredibly versatile. You could be a party favourite, but clever bards can absolutely thrive solo by juggling their songs, kiting enemies, and utilising their Jack of all trades toolkit. Finally, the supports are really good at buffs and debuffs. They can really give the party the extra edge, whether it be mana regeneration, health regeneration, damage, etc., or even the debuffs they can apply on enemies, like the enemy can take longer to hit you, or their strength, stamina, etc. may be reduced. Supports truly are the jack of all trades, so it's worth giving them a go, especially if you like being in a party setting. Currently there are 2 unique classes for the support roles in Monsters of the Memories. There's the Enchanter, who's a subtle spellcaster focused on mind manipulation and crowd control. They excel at shutting down extra enemies to keep the party from being overwhelmed, while also buffing ally capabilities. The Bard is a versatile mobile minstrel who weaves magic into songs that constantly buff allies and weaken enemies. So that's it for this video. It was just a quick rough breakdown of the different roles you could be playing in Monsters and Memories or MMOs in general. It's worth just taking time to think about what you'd like to do. Whether you're a big tank, healer, support or DPS, doesn't matter. I'm sure you can have fun in all of them. It's even worth just trying all of them. But yeah, leave us a like, subscribe, etc. And you can catch me on Twitch live most days. And thanks for watching.